Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 8 of season 9 of the AOR PC GT3 Elite League on Project Verse 2. My name is Fizzy, and unusually doing the intro for a race for this season because our usual intro person, King-Kodiak, he has got some stuff to deal with here at the start of the stream, so we're gonna have to do without him for a little bit, hopefully not too long. He should be back before we know it, I'm sure. But we are here at Circuit Zolder for around 3 races to go in the season. And this is a very interesting circuit. It's obviously last time out we were at Zhuhai for a very, very entertaining race. This track, in my experience, is very, very different. It doesn't have as long straights, and it's got some really, really tricky corners, especially just went through here. From driving that on the various games myself, that is a real bitch to get through, and I'm sure for these GT3 drivers it will be no different. I certainly think that this track will throw up some interesting racing, and let's hope that will be the case. So it does look like at the moment that we only have 23 cars on the grid for this race, which is lower than we have been used to seeing this season. Obviously, the maximum we allow is 32, which some of the races at the start, I believe, had a full grid. But as it tends to go, I guess, throughout the season, things drop off a little bit, and obviously a few drivers having legitimate reasons for missing the race as well. I know, let's try and bring up that list quickly, actually. I know that Yorkie, once again, unfortunately, is missing from the grid. So is Mark Wensi. He's got some shoulder trouble, so he won't be showing us his Lamborghini skills, unfortunately, here today. Murphy in his Janessa missing as well, and the same goes for Poppleton, Nicholas Domino, and Ray Gore, who are the informed no-shows that we know about. But, you know, still 23 cars, and for a relatively small track like Zolder is, should hopefully be more than enough to still provide us some good action. So, the Ferrari of Jadier, represented as always. He's the championship leader, got 63.5 points in hand at the moment on a second place. Popsu, who's also been looking very impressive throughout the season. Oh, and Jadier jumping over the chicane there, very aggressively indeed on his first flying lap, and going past one of the Rainbow Lamborghinis in the process. It's usually a 15-minute qualifying session where the drivers can set as many laps as they possibly can manage to get as good a time as they possibly can manage to get as high up on the grid. That's kind of usually how qualifying for, as I'm sure most of you will know already. And let's stay with Jadier until the end of the lap, as it's coming up to some slower cars that are just lining up the start of the lap. Hopefully that Ferrari won't be a distraction for Jadier through the final chicane, the most open chicane on this circuit. There's 3 different chicanes. There's a tight one that we saw before, him jumping over. There's a triple chicane, and then there's a final slightly more open one as well. So actually, let's is that Fab? No, it's not Fab Iceman, who was just ahead of Jadier. It must have been his teammate, which is Steve actually. But he hasn't got a lap on the board at the moment. Popsu is as half the field has crossed the line to set a lap time. Popsu takes first blow. He's got a banker of 130 head of Fab Iceman, and then Jadier sitting in third at this moment in time. And a quite big gap down to Mr. Van Omen, who's back in the pits in P4. So I'm going to try and find someone who is about to start a lap. Oh god, and Alexis has picked up a bit of damage there on this Ferrari, but he seems to be still, trying to do some laps. That's, again, very aggressive through that chicane. The curbs on that chicane as well are very, very high. So it can very easily unsettle the car. As you saw, Alexis jumping over was on 2 wheels there for a brief moment as he flew through that chicane. And really hoping that damage is not affecting him too much. The top 3 all back in the front. So let's see. anyone close to completing a lap, because I'm kind of keen on doing a bit of a lap guide. Oh god, Tapek getting all out of shape on the exit of the hairpin there. But he is coming towards the final corner, so let's go on board with the bumper, or the bonnet even. Oh no, Tapek, why are you doing this to me? He spins out of the final corner, won't get a better lap in, and also won't give me a chance to do a hot lap guide, or whatever you want to call it. Teach me to start this lap, come on. Jadir, where are you? Help me out here. I don't know whatever it is. Nope, he's at the start of the lap, but I think he's on an out lap, because he was in the pits not long ago, and he might be getting in the way a little bit of either Popsu, that would be Popsu actually, I think. With Tapek, I don't think he could have made it back out of the pits that quickly after his spin. So that's our two main championship contenders there. Jadir and Popsu is nearly pushing Jadir through the triple chicane here. I wonder if either of them are... No, I don't think either of them are on a flying lap actually. Both of them were in the pits about a minute ago. I think they're both on their out laps. I assume that Popsu will be backing off shortly to give himself a bit more space behind Jadir, unless he wants to try and learn from the championship leader. Maybe stay close and see where Jadir is braking and check out his lines, learn new tricks. Actually, he goes past him instead, so Jadir is going to be the one to back off as a whole pile of cars is streaming down towards the final few corners. So, this time, come on Popsu, let's try to have a hot lap of Circuit Zolder in Belgium, on board with the Ferrari of second place in the championship. Wide entry into the first corner, hitting that apex and using all of the space on the exit. And then another wide entry into turn 2, a very open corner as well. And you keep flat out through the kink of 3, the Knalbocht. Actually, I'm going to try and speak Belgian or Dutch or whatever it is. And then a very fast fourth corner. I can't even pronounce that name, so I'm not even going to try. And it's coming up to the slower car there, it's going past. And then into the very tricky, heavy curved chicane there. Oh, it looked a little bit awkward there as he is jumping over those curves. That is the Kleine chicane, or the Kleine chicane, or however you say it. And the triple chicane now, heavy braking again, hitting the first apex, hitting the second apex. It's a bit bumpy on the middle there, so it could be easy to spin. And again on the exit, wiggling a little bit as he comes out of the corner. And then another medium length straight down towards probably the slowest corner on the track. That is the hairpin. Turn 8, the Bolderberg Haarspeltbracht, or something like that. That is a very long Belgian word. And then another pretty long straight down towards the final chicane. Turn 10, for some reason both of the parts of the chicane is only turn 10, so I would have thought there were 2 corners there on the chicane, but it's only 1. Apparently, according to my track map, and towards the line, Popsu goes to not improve this time. I believe he stays on at the 130.5. Not really surprising, because I think he had a few unsettling moments on some of those corners where the car didn't look too stable. And actually Jadir, just behind, has crossed the line and he's gone nearly 0.2 of a second faster as he goes off track. I turn around the next lap and retires back to the pits. Jadir back on provisional pole. Fab Iceman is setting himself up for a lap by the looks of it. Tidgney in the Audi, lying down the middle sector at the moment. And yet, unfortunately, our bear is currently in the cave. He's having a few little personal stuff to deal with at the moment. But he should be back before the start of the race, at least. Said so, I will trust him on that. So don't despair, the bear shall return shortly. It's good for you, as you don't have to deal with only my voice for the whole hour of the race that is coming up. So that would have been... not good at all. Tidgney, he completes a lap and he is still nearly 0.7 of a second slower than our current provisional poleman. But up in P6 is still not too bad. For Tidgney at a Lexus has gone up to P3, unless he was there anyway. Didn't notice anyway until now. He's still running with visual damage on the front of his Ferrari, but I can only assume that is only visual for me here in the commentary box. If he has actually hit something that hard, he surely would have gone back to the pits and got that fixed before continuing on. Yes. Well, there's a lot of more corners I could try and pronounce in Belgian Ticklish, but I'm not sure. It's a bit, honestly, you can't give me a word of 20 letters in Belgian and expect me to be right. That'd be a bit too much task, I think. But now Alexis is coming towards the Jackie. Oh, the Jackie X. Oh, I know that name. Jackie X Bocht. So I assume Bocht means like corner or something. And will Alexis improve? No, he stays in P3. Zal up into 5th place at the moment. My fellow Norwegian in one of many yellow Ferraris on the grid. He's doing well here. Had a bit of an up and down season, to be honest. He finished 8th last time out at a solid race at Zhuhai. But the race before that at Long Beach, he was only 22nd of some issues. He's sitting 8th place in the championship, so been relatively solid. But he brought that particular lap as he drives through another Ferrari in the pit lane. I'm sure he doesn't mind. Oh, they got a touch again. This is very interesting. But Zal gets out ahead in the end. Let's see. He's Popsu on it, flying. Oh, he's literally flying over that chicane. He's jumping the curb, flying through the slow chicane, and now coming into the triple chicane. Once again, we got a spinner just ahead of him as well. Who was that? Not Liam. I can actually mention Liam, the sick one. We are used to seeing him in the Ferrari as well. But he's actually changed car, so he's decided to sacrifice all his points that he's earned this season. 118 points to change his car mid-season with 3 rounds to go. So clearly he had gotten very tired of that Ferrari and wanted to change to the Cadillac, which I find very interesting indeed. So he's going to be down at the bottom of the championship after sitting 7th, only to do the last 3 races in the Cadillac, and it doesn't seem to be working out too well because he's currently 13.4 seconds off the pace, and this lap doesn't look particularly fast either so far. But I guess he might throw up a surprise or two later on. Oh, did he try to... Almost looked like he was about to spin there. So that was just my eyes confusing my brain, probably. Popsu has completed that lap we saw him on before, but he has not improved. So he will continue on his hunt with 2 minutes to go in the session to take pole away from Jardier. Miss Van Alben has actually jumped up from 7th to 5th with his latest effort. Oh, and who's that? Tidney comes across the line, only 3.5 tenths off Jardier to go P4 at the moment. It's pretty close, I have to say, in the top 7 at least. Only 6 tenths between the top 7, and then there's a 5-tenth gap down to Tapek in 8th. He's actually coming across the line now, but he does not improve on his current time. See, Andre's up in 10th. That is surprisingly high in qualifying for him. But I have to say, the gaps are massive. Like, after the top 7, it is unusually big gaps between these cars. You got Tapek sitting there all by himself in 8th with a 5-tenth gap ahead and a 6-tenth gap behind. And then Nick Meadow would appear to be the best of the rest at the moment, ahead of Andrex. And then from 9th and down, it is very, very close again on times. Only 3 tenths down to 15th place. So, could turn out to be sort of a 2-tier race almost, just by looking at the times here. Jardier is back in the pits. So let's actually go on board with the roof of Popsu on his final attempt in the session. I don't think he'll have time to start another lap because it's quite early on in his current lap. Oh no, and he's run into the gravel! That's gonna end Popsu's qualifying session. And Alexis as well in 3rd has retired to the pits. Tidney is gonna come across the line once more to set another lap. What's it gonna be for the Audi driver? He doesn't improve, but he has time to complete his next effort as well. 20 seconds on the clock to spare for him. Zal as well, just ahead of him, is on his final effort. Nesterovic has jumped up to 9th now. He pushed himself as the best of the rest as he stands. His teammate, oh, with a huge drift, he can't save that one on his own the grass. Nesterovic is qualifying as well, has ended. Nick Meadow just coming across the lot. Sure if he managed to, no, I think he might have finish his final lap. So let's actually let's go on board with Tidney instead. No, let's not, because he spotted as well. Jesus Christ. Okay, Zell then, from 7th. What can he do on his final effort? In this session, coming through the triple chicane, and again, just the cars through these chicanes, they seem quite unstable. It has to be said, but Zell at least managed to keep it on the track, unlike some of the other drivers in their final lap effort. Slow and nice on the apex, through the hairpin, a little bit on the gravel as well. Probably won't help his exit there. Zell is one of very few drivers, or maybe the last one actually, to cross the line here. A little bit unstable in the brake zone for the chicane as well. Does not look too nice to the end of this lap, and he ends it with a spin into the barrier. It was Zell as well. Has pushed a little bit too hard on his final lap. And I think, yeah, Nick Meadow seems to be going slow. And Rex is in the pits. Steve? It's also a slow lap, yes. I think everyone has actually completed their final lap in this session. Just a few cars still coasting around here at slow pace. So here we have it then. Zolder will be in pole position once more in the league. He had, of course, a pretty tricky race last time out where he didn't start a pole. Well, kind of tricky. He started second, but he had Popsu ahead of him for a long time in the race. Eventually got past him to win that race as well. There's only been one race out of the 7 races we've had this season where Zolder has not been the winner. And being set for another solid result here. Popsu again, the closest challenger to him though. Ahead of Alexis Tidney and Iceman in the top 5. Mr. Van Omen, Zolder's teammate, in 6th. Then Zell, Tapek, Nesterovic, and 2 Desert Pack up in the top 10. Nick Meadow then ahead of Andrex and Cole McCoy in 13th. Then we got Steve in 14th. Tex Wheeler, Oblitor Rillo, VSR Noah, Mickesby, and Zoc in the top 20. And Iceman and Leon the Sick One at the back. So the change to the Cadillac has clearly not, performance-wise, turned out too great for Leon the Sick One. I'm sure he would have hoped for a little bit more after sacrificing 118 points in the championship just to make the car change. But it is how it is.
What did I miss?
Hey, King-Kodiak is back.
Hello, everybody.
Has returned from his cave.
I am most apologetic for missing qualifying. I've had to deal with my children's solo this evening, but my wife is now back, which means I am now fully focused. What a surprise! Yardier is on pole.
Yeah,
I could
that's
have.
What you missed.
That's what I missed. But right, what a race we have in front of us at Zolder. The first time I've ever commentated here.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I've driven it, but never commentated it.
Okay, so you know the circuits. I think you'll remember it more from driving it than commentating on it, because as a driver, in my opinion, it's a bit of a bitch.
to use the correct terminology.
Obviously.
And I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of these corner names correctly.
No, that is impossible.
Moly,
I tried with a hairpin turn 8. That was not a pleasant experience.
Oh my god, yeah. That's been called
I'd like
Boulder.
to see you try it. Boulder, yeah.
Well, that's
well,
only
that's
being
cheating.
referred to as completely. I'll take that. Boulder Bergaspielebocht. That's close. That's as close as I am going to get.
I mean, I'm not Belgian, but I think that was pretty.
Right, so away you go. Wow, Jardier wasn't hanging around. Holy moly! They do normally sit there for about 5 seconds, but Jardier is very, very keen to get underway. Now we should be in line for a wet race later on, I understand.
Yeah. The weather report would suggest so, yeah. We're starting with some heavy clouds, I believe, quite overcast conditions. But the weather forecast does say that rain could well appear at some point during the race. So that's and we haven't seen rain for quite a few races, actually, wasn't it? What race did we have rain, actually?
Red Bull Ring.
Red Bull Ring was the rainy one. Yeah, and that was round 3, so 5 weeks ago.
So, Jardier, Popsu, Adalexis, Tidney, and I... Oh, decent performance by Iceman. Apologies, I'm kind of catching up with the qualifying position myself because I've literally missed the entire lot. So having a quick cycle through the list. How many do we have with us? 22. I'm also pleased...
And then it's now 22.
We have lost one en route. Now, I am actually glad to report that the timing bug has actually been fixed in previous patches, so we should never encounter it again.
That is like Christmas.
Yes. Yes, I'm rather happy about that as well. Nickersby. A few Porsches. Just coming.
Oh, you might have missed the one thing actually. Leon the sick one is driving a Cadillac.
Oh, he's got a... that's a rather unusual line. So I wonder why Leon was doing pretty well on the Ferrari. So
he was 7th in the championship. He has sacrificed 118 points to make the switch to a car which has gotten him last on the grid.
I am genuinely stunned by that. I mean, so is this so this isn't a one race thing then? This is a change for the remainder of the season. Yeah,
last 3 races. But still, it's a lot of points to sacrifice.
Yeah. So as we now form the 2x2 line, we're coming through. See on my map, I don't know whether you've got the same, but that's Jackie Xbox. Well, Jackie X is a famous Belgian F1 racer, so I know why that's so named. But never mind. Let's get this underway. Jardier. Clean getaway has been normal. Popsy forming into line out of Alexis is keeping on that inside line, trying to defend away from Fab Iceman, that was having a look on the inside of turn 1. I think I may completely cheat and just refer to corner numbers. Oh, Disney having a look on the inside of that long turn 2, but not quite yielding anything at the moment. That's Van Orman in the second Tiger Ferrari, looking to keep the pressure on Fab Iceman. Everyone pretty much remaining clean and no massive gaps forming at the moment. That was, I think it was Oscarazal that was jumping out in that yellow Ferrari. But so far so good. No major incidents to report just yet.
Oh, it seems nice and clean so far. Not much position changing, I don't think, as the camera is zooming a bit too much from my liking at the moment. It's a bit hard to see what's going on in the background. But Zal has dropped the position. He started 7th. Tapek's gone up past him into that position. So Tapek with a solid start of this race, but I think the top 6 at least are all as they started. And I haven't seen too much action. Zolder trying to get 7th place back straight away. It's such an awkward triple chick. Okay, no, sorry, that was the wrong code. That was the hairpin. That's actually a corner very can, I would say. But Tapek managed to see it coming and brake late to avoid losing that position back to Oscar Zal. And all the cars just running in a nice line towards the final chicane to complete the first lap.
Yeah, that's Alexis under all kinds of trouble, under all kinds of pressure rather from Disney, but Fab Iceman is really having a stunning look. He's trying to get on the outside of the Audi, doesn't quite get it done, but piling the pressure on. Oh, and then having a bit of a switch to the back there, having a look on the inside of turn 2 once again, not quite able to pull that one off. Oh, Iceman don't wander too far around there, that's not going to do you any favours. But everyone remaining fairly well behaved at the moment. Popsy trying to keep up with... Wow, Jardier has really found his form once again. Not that he lost his form particularly, because he wasn't very well last week and still managed to win the race at Zhuhai. So he's already sprinting away to try and get a second's gap between himself and Popsy. And Alexis is doing a pretty good job trying to defend against several cars behind him. Typek then in 8th position with Zal ahead and 2 Deserpack behind as they come through the chicane just before turn 7. On my map, that chicane and the next 2 turns are all classed as turn 7, so I'll refer to that as you and I are probably looking at the same map. Talamenbocht. Boxing for mean turns. So yes. I wholeheartedly apologise for my... Go on.
Zao was pointing out Zao is actually taking 7th place back from Tapek after losing it earlier on. And Alexis is still Audi.
Yeah, he's having to fight very hard to keep that black Audi behind him. I was just apologising for my my terrible use of the of the Belgian language there, or Flemish. I wholeheartedly apologise. I was never very good. Oh, look at them! Wow! Absolutely left out Alexis standing there. What a move by the Audi of Tisney. Jumps up into third place. Oh no!
Alexis, this one's taking. Alexis behind is going to be very careful to not hit into them.
Where the hell's the camera going?
Camera is going somewhere. Has everyone managed to avoid him? Yeah, I think all the cars managed to avoid, apart from Iceman, who unfortunately got caught up in that one, but managed to rejoin in 6th place still. It's not too bad, but he's now in the train just behind Van Omen and Zal, so that's going to be probably quite crucial. It's going to be hard to pass those guys, as Zal is going for a move, is he? He is indeed. Van Omen defending the inside though into the triple chicane, and Zal, oh, it's nearly a concertina with Iceman getting caught up, but wow, yeah, it's now a huge train for 4th place down after Alexis lost it, and somehow after that complete sideways moment, it's only down to 8th place, but...
Oh my goodness, Typek! Wow, jumping on the inside of Iceman. He got a little bit boxed in there. He couldn't get, he couldn't keep the momentum going past Zal. It didn't really pay off for him. I think it may have been a bit of an avoiding manoeuvre, but look at that! That's going on. Good God, that's going back all the way to Iceman, and that is that's 21st. That train is huge. But Leon is really struggling with that Cadillac. What a shame for him. I applaud his efforts to try something different. Oh, look at that. A lovely move on the inside of turn 1 for Iceman to get into 5th position. That's not done though, but Zal, he's having a look now on the outside of 2. That's corner's too long for that. Oh, Typek had a look on the inside of turn 2. Couldn't quite get it done. That door was very much firmly shut in his face. Zal is really keeping the pressure on Iceman, but it does look like Van Omen is now beginning to get into his stride. It's stretched away by about a second.
Yeah, Van Omen benefiting from these guys battling very hard. Zal is going for moves at every opportunity. It looks like this.
Wow!
What's happened? Zal gets it, cuts in. He braked so late there and got his nose in before Iceman could even have a chance to try to be alongside in that chicane. I'm not sure he even would have wanted to, because that would have lost.
Yeah, there was nothing he really could have done there. I mean, as you say, Van Omen, Oscar Zal was very much already done. He'd already completed the move before he then turned in, and as such, he had no means of being able to defend any further. And a lovely, lovely move. Then that just shows the trust that Zal. Try that sentence again. That just shows the trust that Zal had in Iceman, because that could have gone horribly wrong. And a lovely move then for the yellow Ferrari. But still, this train continues with Typek and Alexis. It's not been a good day for Alexis, falling down to 8th due to that earlier incident. There is Nick Meadow in the lead Nissan with Steve directly ahead of him. Steve making a bit of a better run than we've seen him have in the last few rounds. There we see Andrex in the distinctive red and white BMW going out of the shop. There's Noah is in the lead Z4 with Oblator in short succession. And back up to this pack of... It's pretty much it's a sick pack.
Yeah.
That's going on at the moment. And they've reeled Van Omen back in again. So whether Van Omen's made a mistake and had to back off, because he had... Oops! And that's 2 Desert Pack that got a bit out of shape there in 9th position in the Audi. He could lose it. Is he going to lose that position to Conan McCoy, I wonder? Don't look away. There was a strange bit of lag there. No, 2 Desert Pack has hung on to 9th position. He has got Conan McCoy in the next Audi in fairly short succession, but he has got enough of a gap there to maintain the position. Now this pack is breaking up a little bit. Oh no! That's Fab Iceman that spun it! Iceman's going to be falling through the field. Oh, disaster! What a shame. He's had 2 great podiums the last couple of rounds and is now down in 12th. It looks like he may lose that to Steve. No, just manages to come in front of him.
Yeah, he's just ahead of his teammate, but that's 2 moments now for Iceman in this race. Obviously, the first one he was unfortunate, just getting... This time he seemed to lose the car by himself. 12th place, so it's going to have to be a bit of a recovery. And who started in the top 5.
Absolutely, yeah. And just
it's not.
Oh no! So you're actually lagging on this end quite a bit there, Fizzy. So we're struggling to keep up with what you're saying, but we'll do the best that we can to keep up with exactly what's going on. We're looking at Oscar Zal once again, who maintains his pressure on Van Omen, but Typek is nearly a second behind these two now. Of course, this pack of 4 that did have Iceman in it has now completely dissipated. Now, interestingly, the gap between Tijni and Popsu is about 3 seconds, but Popsu has managed to remain within a second of Jardier. And we saw this before, although Jardier did open up 3/10 on Popsu last time around. So those two are yet again running off into the distance and trying their best to keep their pace above everybody else. But Popsu is pushing like crazy to keep up with the mighty force of Jardier. And so far so good. Long way to go. And of course we have got that dramatic weather change coming along, so we'll see how that shakes up the field.
Yeah, that will be very interesting indeed. When the rain comes in as we expect. It's not looking too dark at the moment. You can see, I think it's even a bit of sun maybe coming through. There's a bit of shadows forming next to the straight there. Could be wrong, but hopefully it is not, because I would love to see some rain again.
Absolutely.
In this race.
Absolutely that. Although we were on for heavy cloud and rain, I believe, was the expected forecast. Although, like you say, we are seeing some shadows there to indicate there is some sunshine out there. So we will see if the weather changes. And look at that, 32.3, 32.4, 32.4. The top 3 all within a tenth of one another, and that includes Tijni. So he's really beginning to get into his stride. He's not quite on the pace of Jardier and Popsy, but if Popsy starts to reel in Jardier, we know what these two are like. We saw it near enough all race long last week at Zhuhai, and we could well see the same again, especially if Jardier just makes a little bit of a mistake. Popsy does seem to be reeling him in little by little. Long way to go, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an hour-long race. We're back to a timed race, actually, for this one, after running a few races with the lap count. But, yeah, we're nearly a quarter of the... Jardier's car looked a little bit unsettled, actually, on exit to the triple chicane, but I think he got it nicely under control. Remains about a 7/10 of a gap between the top 2. And we know how consistent they are. Obviously, all the races in Zhuhai, they were just running... For the first half of the race, Jardier was following Popsu by less than a second, and the second half of the race, Popsu was following Jardier by less than a second. So they are definitely pushing each other really hard. I'm sure that even though Popsu might be a little bit annoyed with how many of the races on, I'm sure he appreciates the competition with Jardier and trying to at least get one over on him, because when he did that, he did of course at round 5. When we had that shortened race, I'm sure that felt extra good just knowing how good Jardier has been.
And to be fair, Popsy it's been the only driver to consistently put Jardier under pressure. So I mean, Popsy has that distinction as well. I'm not meaning to take it away from the rest of our drivers; they're all the best that we have in Project Cars GT3 for the PC, of course. But there's best and there's the best, and Jardier and Popsy really are the class act at the moment. Looking at Andrex, once again the lead M6, keeping the pressure on Nesterovic. So Andrex, by his own admission, is not a strong qualifier and doesn't like to pick people off for their mistakes. But he certainly benefited from Iceman's earlier spin, although Iceman is beginning to reel the M6 in once again. So he's looking to try and make up some lost ground. Andreas qualified 12th, so he hasn't made up a lot of ground. Again, we saw that Ferrari to get very, very twitchy through that tab 5 chicane. I can pronounce that one, Kleiner chicane. It's one of the few I can actually say. Getting very, very close through that turn 7 complex. Iceman again with the pace, but nowhere to use it. He's lost it again! Iceman again just getting onto the grass, bounces off the wall, returns to the track. It is going from bad to disastrous for Iceman today.
He was pushing so hard, obviously, just behind Andrex, and the car just doesn't look stable. It was losing it on the part of the track that should be pretty much flat out, I believe. Just maybe it's a bit bumpy there, but still, it's.
There is another possibility for that. If he's gone for a rain setup, then he may well... I would expect it to be more grippy in the... if he gone for a rain setup, I expect the downforce to be... Nesterovic is... I wonder if he had to slow down there, because Andrex just breezed straight past him. So I'm assuming... I don't know how he's done it. He must have done it off that last chicane, the turn 10, or the Jackie Yick booked. He must have done it there, because he was... There was just nothing there. There was no defence as they came into turn 1 at all.
Yeah, and further ahead, Zal has lost the position again to Tapek. just like at the start of the race. That time he got it back, but now Tapek is back ahead. This time for 5th place, of course. Still running behind Mr. Van Ommen there in 4th. As the train really has started to spread out, it has to be said. We had that 6-pack earlier on. It's now more of a 1 by 2 by 1. As Tapek trying to close the gap on Mr. Van Ommen, but yeah, Zal having a few little problems, it would seem.
It would seem so. There we see Titany just going out of the shop. So he's got some space. What's he got? About 3.7 seconds behind. He's got now just under 6 seconds ahead of him. He really has fallen off the pace of the front. Although he's actually gained a 10th on Popsy that time around, but there's a massive gap that he has to close down. Popsy staying within striking range of Jardier, actually reading him in by a 10th last time around. Van Ommen, as we can see, 1 second or thereabouts ahead of Typek as they come around turns 2 and 3. He maintains his rhythm.
It has to be said, the top 6 all running very strong pace. Tapek was actually the slowest man. Actually, no. Titany was the slowest man by 300s, and then Tapek, and then we have Popsu. So, yeah, very close pace now.
We've lost one. We just lost somebody there. And
and Andrax is up a position.
Yes.
No, wait.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right. Oh no, he wasn't. No, we saw him go past the steroid earlier, so no, it was below that. Never any good at identifying it.
Nope.
No, it's not immediately obvious to me who it is we've lost. So we are down to 21 drivers then, and on go Typek. He has broken free of Sal, as we can see. And he is reading in Van Ommen. What were the lap times last time around? 32.4, 32.8. So 4 tenths in Typek's favour. We'll see if he's able to maintain that pace.
Indeed. Jardier is still they're still just matching each other. Down to 32.2 though. Very strong laps from both of them there. And then Titany comes in with a 32.7. Van Ommen will come across to 7 as well. Tapek is on a 32.9, so Van Ommen actually was gaining on that particular lap, and Zell, of course, with a 34 because he had lost position. I think he must have had a mistake, because that's an unusually slow lap time.
Indeed. So 5 Icemen then down to 12th. He managed a 33.9 last time, so that shows you the pace he is able to do. He's just struggling to maintain it.
Already at the back again of Nesterovic. Is actually going for the move into the long right-hander, forcing Nesterovic to go quite wide there on the corner, and I think Iceman should have the inside for the fast turn 4. Nesterovic is still keeping his nose ahead, though braking later. Can he get it turning without going on the ground?
No,
he can't.
Fair effort by Nesterovic. That was a brilliant effort by Nesterovic, but there came a point where he knew that that wasn't going to stick. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late for him. He couldn't do anything about it, and off he sailed. But sadly, for him, he is going to. Oh, it's Doc we lost. Yes, we lost our blue Mercedes. He just sent me a message. He had a screen freeze, and the next thing you realise he was in the wall. Fab Iceman again, just dipping a tyre into the wall, just lost a bit of traction. It's going to put Nick Meadow in the Nissan right in his case once again. The heavy braking zone into the that's turn 8, and then the quick chicane of Jochen Rindbocht of turn 9. We've got a 5-car train roughly forming here. So still a lot of racing going on, but for our 5 Iceman, it's a real struggle.
Indeed, we got another little close 2x2 over 2 white hair with 2 Deserpack ahead of Colin McCoy, who is running a very solid race up in 9th position at the moment. Colin McCoy, whose best result this season is 17th.
Oh wow!
Round 3 in the rain actually at Red Bull Ring, so maybe he's looking forward to the rain to come down. But he's doing very good in the dry at the moment. He has to be said. Just behind the Audi of 2 Deserpack. Both running Audis actually.
Indeed. Assuming that the weather is going to change at the halfway point, it will change in about just under 10 minutes time. So we will see how this affects our drivers. If, of course, the rain comes at that point, it could come at any stage in the race after the halfway point, I believe, is how the 2 weather slot system works. It doesn't necessarily form at bang on the halfway stage. But we will see. That is, of course, outside of our hands. Andrex then trying his best to get away from the ever-charging Ferrari of Iceman, who in turn has got to keep his eyes on the mirrors for that Nissan. Nick Meadow is not letting up at all. And this is a battle for 11th position.
Yeah, Nick Meadow looking quite strong actually at this stage of the race. Iceman, of course, we know he has, you know, if he runs clean laps, we know he can have top 5 pace here, but Nick Meadow is actually keeping up with him very nicely indeed in that Nissan. And Fab Iceman isn't really able to make progress up the field in the way I'm sure he would have wanted, and maybe in the way that we expected. Maybe he does have a little bit of damage, of course. He did touch the wall that last time he was off the track, a little bit at least, even though it doesn't look too bad visually on the car. But you never know.
Indeed. Around turn 1 they come once again. Into the long turn 2. It does look like Andrex is able to start stretching his legs. He has increased that gap in 10th position. Looking at the lap times, Iceman lost 3/10 on Andrex that time around. Having a look at Typek then, there's a near damage a second between himself and Zal. Oh, that's Van Ommen. And who was that was off in the dust? Oh, it's Leon. What a shame. We admire... yeah, he's had a problem with 142 last time around. That Cadillac is not yielding for him at the moment. You never know. It could be an absolute god in the wet. But if that's the case...
back the whole lap in the wet.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about balance of power. That would be incredible. If
it doesn't seem to be any balance in that car at the moment.
No.
He's wiggling his tail out of the corners.
He's actually playing Dirt 4. And determined to go sideways in that Cadillac. So it's a struggle, I think it's fair to say, for Leon. We know how fast he is. Oh dear, that's not the way you go into the pit, sir.
It's the wall in the way if he was going for the pit there. Yeah, I mean, I would love to know Leon's reasoning for this car change. I'm completely baffled by it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you now turned up, even though you sacrificed 118 points, even if you had a good race, I still would have questioned it. But like, if you turned up here with that Cadillac and had performed an absolutely amazing race, you know, finished say on the podium, then okay, fair enough. But he's now lapped after 25 minutes.
Yeah, we're not even at halfway stage. I mean, you would expect that if I was driving the Cadillac. And I will put my hands up and absolutely say that I would be lapped by now. I have no problem. I would jump into, if I could, I would jump into server and race Leon to give him some company. So that's he's anyone that is being compared to my kind of pace, you are having a bad day. Definitely so.
Could of course be some other kind of issues going on, maybe some equipment issues or whatever, but yeah, it's looking like a dark day for Leon at the moment. So we'll try and focus back on the battle here. 4th, 5th and 6th running nicely close together, but none really in striking distance of each other at the moment. Last lap, Van Ommen lost 7/10 to Typek actually. Let's see how that balances out this time. Typek, I don't think it's closing too much more. 32.6, 32.6, and then 32.7. Oh, sorry, 32.6 as well for Zal just behind. Yeah,
quite a few 32.6s on the board at the moment. So 32.2 by Popsu.
Connors passed to Desaback.
He has. The Audis have swapped round, but to Desaback, he's not letting that one go. As you can see, Conor McCoy really getting the grips with that Audi. Here is Zolder. Oh my goodness me, but to Desaback trying to do an outside manoeuvre around turn 2. It's going to be brave. We've seen people already doing this race. Conor McCoy doing the best he can to stay very hard to the apex line, and he has regained that position. To Desaback really put the pressure on him. Now coming through 4. And that's the end of that particular charge for 2 Desert Pample. Wow, that just reminded the orange and blue Audi, don't celebrate too early just yet. I'm still here and I can still put the pressure on you.
Oh! He has put the pressure on. McCoy's off into the wall. That's a shame for him. Can he get back on the track safely without spinning into the in front of someone? Steve does well. Very awkward error trying to get back on the power on the grass. And he's now 14th.
He must be feeling sick from 8th down to what could now be 15th. And that's a weird lag moment he just had there, because he was kind of suddenly went sideways with that chicane. Now down to 15th. Oh, Conor McCoy must be livid.
Absolutely. I think he just got scared of the track there as well by Noah, who's put his nose up the inside into the triple chicane, and Paul McCoy maybe feeling a little bit flustered from having made that mistake, and he's again going wide. Yeah, he seems to have lost all confidence. There's a bit of damage actually visually on the rear of that Audi as well. So that's a shame. He was on for a really good race.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to do another pit stop. That's going to be annoying because definitely with the rain that we expect to come in, he definitely doesn't want to do any pit stop before he has to change to the wet tires. I think, now choice really. Will he actually go on the wet tires and hope the rain comes very, very quickly?
Well, the sun's still out, so...
Yeah, exactly. Visually, there's nothing to suggest that will be the case.
Well, we did have it in Austria where it appeared to be raining much earlier to the drivers than it appears to us and spectators. I had this also in an endurance race where you could hear the rain falling, you could see them physically slippering around, but I couldn't see it so much from a spectator standpoint. But that track looks very, very dry. So I don't think... And the sun's still out, so... Yeah, I don't think we've got any rain clouds just yet.
Nope. That's a shame for Paul McCoy. That's basically his race over there. So he's been in the pits for quite a long time as well.
We've lost our Cadillac.
The Cadillac is gone, so that car change has gone interestingly, I must say. Down to 20 drivers now, which means that everyone who manages to get to the end of this race will get at least 1 point for their efforts.
Indeed. Absolutely. Again, all credit to Leon there for giving it a try, but it has horrendously backfired for him. There's a bit of damage on Tex Reader's Porsche there, so he's had an argument with something or someone. Oh, look at that! Z4 that was on the back of, that would have been Noah on Steve, I think. Yes, it is, for 12th position. Steve having to really fend off that Z4. It's not often you see the Ferraris fighting with the Z4s. Again, not meaning to sound disingenuous, but you don't tend to see a lot of the battling from the Z4. Steve going a bit wide at turn 1. And Noah is really hanging on in there.
Yeah. Steve very much under pressure from that lovely green Z4 there. I think we got a 3-way battle as well with Fab Iceman still hanging on ahead of Magneto, and then Nesterovic after his earlier little problems is trying to get back into it as well.
Ooh, Magneto
diving into that chicane. That would not have been a safe move.
No.
Out of that one. But,
that would have been ugly.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a gamble when you're just trying to do this sort of hard, even if you do it intentionally. It's like, Oh, Chardier's lost the lead!
Chardier's lost the lead! He was 1.5 seconds ahead. He's had a mistake, a rare mistake from the Jardier. He's lost that first position to Popsu. Now, I wonder, trying to get a look at the skyline, is it starting to rain somewhere? Because we're starting to see people slipping around. I wonder. The clouds, again, they don't look that dark, so no, I don't know that it is. So the sun is still out in some places. But Jardier he's made a colossal mistake. Yes. Whenever he did it wasn't in the last lap. Oh no, yes it was, 32.3 against 33.9. He lost 1.6. That's how Popsy's done it.
I think it must have been towards the end of the lap. I think Jardier was looking quite slow going down the main straight, and again he's missing the apex there a little bit. Yeah, it's very interesting. Jardier now has made that little mistake that Popsu has been hoping for all race long. That's why he's kept the pressure on.
Yeah.
And Jardier finally, we haven't seen this often this season, but Popsu in the lead of the race will take a second victory away from Jardier. I mean, Jardier still has 6, he can't really complain.
Yeah.
How the season is gone, but Popsu will be very, very pleased if he can get this way. But of course, with what we think will be a weather change coming in, there's still a lot that will happen in this race.
If that weather change happens soon, it's all going to come down to consistency. Now, last time we had wet, it was wet all the way through. So they didn't have to think about mixing up the strategy. How do I set the car up for the dry? Do I set it up for the wet? Where do I go? This, of course, is mixing up the two. That is, of course, assuming the wet weather comes soon. It doesn't look like there's any of it at the moment. These guys still setting the mid to low 32s, so there's no rain out there yet. I'm just wondering whether Jardier damaged that Ferrari any, but with a lap time like that, I doubt that he has. So it's now his turn to chase down Popsu. We saw Jardier chasing what was Fab Iceman at Long Beach. So we know that he can put the pressure on. And it's not the first time he's chased that blue Ferrari either, as Woozy mentioned. It was Road America, where he was really pushing on to try and do something against Popsu. Popsu was hanging on until we had the server detonation, which gave him a half-point win. And Jardier is continuing on his way now, just under 3/10. Oh, goodness me, Jardier getting a little deep into that one. But on they go nonetheless through turns 8 and 9. Popsy must be just thinking, what can I do to get away from this yellow Ferrari?
I don't think there's much he can do at all to get away, to be honest. I think he just has to defend when he needs to here. Nobody this season has shown that they can pull away from Jardier on pace. That's going to be a very, very tough task for Popsu. But Popsu has shown, of course, for long periods of races that he knows how to defend his position. And Zolder, not an easy place to overtake, but Jardier is staying so incredibly close that this is going to be a very tough task for even a driver like Popsu to keep hold of this position.
That's going to be interesting, because it would appear that, I think it's fairly safe to say, with 32-1 and 32-0 from our lead pair, that their car is very much set up for the dries. Jardier has a look at the inside, heading down towards turn 5 chicane, and again opts out of it, with more trying to spook Popsu into a move. Popsu is a bit too experienced for that. But if the rain does come, it's then going to be how well they can wrestle those cars that seem to be set up one way. Popsu didn't get a good run, but Jardier had an even worse run through that chicane.
Got loose there. He got loose on the middle part and did a nice little save there. Nice little subtle save.
Yeah.
Maybe he felt a bit more, maybe it looked a bit more aggressive than what he's actually felt for him, but still, he's lost a few tenths.
I think Popsu didn't have a good run through that chicane, and Jardier had to get out of it a bit to prevent. Oh, maybe. Again, it looked like he had a bit of understeer coming into that final chicane. So he's definitely got a few things to work on to try and keep that Ferrari under control. Typek keeping Zal behind him at the moment. That's Van Orman, you can see, just going out of the shop.
Yeah, we got blue Ferrari versus yellow Ferrari for the first place, and we got blue Ferrari versus yellow Ferrari for 5th place as well.
Absolutely.
And Zal, very, very close down the main straight. He might have a look on the inside here. He's almost pushing Tapek down the straight. Zal, can he get later on the brake race? He's trying definitely side by side through the corner. Don't touch! Tapek falls out onto the curb, but he stays ahead for the time being. He's going to force Zal to go on the outside if he wants to get a position, but no, he doesn't. He's going to try to cut underneath instead, but isn't able to get close enough. So good defending there from Tapek. I was almost certain that he was losing it with the way he gave Zal the inside of turn 1, but he did well.
I think Zal backed out of that because he had the commanding run into the inside of turn 1, and then suddenly unless he felt he had a bit of loss of traction, but suddenly then Tapek just blasted past him and then maintained that position through turns 2 and 3. So I think Zal felt he had to back out of that. But he's getting himself back in the position to have another go. There's Popsu, still 3/10 ahead of Jardier. Now heading down towards... They've gone through 8 and 9, heading towards the last couple of turns once again. Still no sign of any wet weather.
No, it's kind of surprising that we are still not seeing any wetness.
It was added to the server, wasn't it?
Well, I would assume so.
We have a 31 on the board.
I think it's in the right thread.
Yeah. We have a 31 on the board. 31.9 by, of course, Jardier closed in 3/10 that last time around.
Yeah, it's close. I guess that it lost.
Popsu is doing his best to keep that pressure under control. We've seen him do it before, but he's got just under half the race left to try and do it. Let's see if he can hang on to it.
Definitely. We do like to see these close lead battles. Maybe it's not, changing positions back and forth, but you can't really expect that at a track like Zolder. It's more of a technical track. It's about nailing those corners just from a driving standpoint and not making mistakes. And Jody did make a mistake. So far, Popsu has not made his one. Well, he obviously hopes that there won't be a mistake at all from him. And he's doing a good job at the moment.
That he is. The gap not changing at all.
Oh, Zal has passed Tapek all of a sudden.
He has. We saw that Zal went for that inside move at turn 1. And I wonder if Typek's made a mistake, because he is a few tenths behind now from being a few tenths ahead. There's 2 Desert Pack. Back and Andrex, so they've gained a position. I wonder who they gained a position from. Not 100% sure who was ahead of them that's now behind. Just looking at the list, because Andrex, I'm sure, was in 10th last time I looked at it. Now, very much in 9th.
Maybe it was all the way back when Iceman had this problem, maybe? But that's a long time ago now, of course.
Yeah, it was a while back, yeah. It's been a while since we've been able to look. Popsu getting a 131.9 on the board as well now. So, anything you can do, I can match, he says to Jardier. Except for 6 wins in the season. That one has eluded Popsu so far. But give him time. I'm sure that he can show such dominance in the future. There's not 6 rounds left, so he certainly can't do it in this season. Looking behind this particular pack as well, you've got Iceman and Nick Meadow in their battle. They've been locked in that duo for a while.
Yeah.
Further back, you've got Nesterowicz, Steve and Noah.
Yeah, Nesterowicz has...
Nesterowicz has fallen through them.
He's almost falling into that other battle instead now.
Yeah, that'll be the Black Audi then that's fallen down the field. There he is. As he was up with Andrex last time. Sadly, he's made a mistake somewhere. And finds himself in 12th position with 1.5 to gain on Nick Meadow, who's making a move on Fab Iceman. Is he going to get it done? He's not got much. He does! What a run out of turn 4 for the Nissan. Oops! And then gets slightly loose on the chicane. He nearly throws it away, but on board then with the now chasing Ferrari. It's not getting any better for Iceman. And up ahead you can see that is Andrex and 2 Desert Pack slightly further ahead. So, and Iceman just runs a little bit wide on the exit of that first chicane of turn 7. On the go then, and look how much time that's given Nick Meadow.
Yeah, Nick Meadow doing well. I mean, when Iceman's area of the field, I was not expecting him to lose even further positions, but he did a fantastic job there to get ahead of Iceman for the top 10 spot. And is it just me, or is the track actually getting
lighter?
Darker?
Oh, darker. I thought it was getting lighter, actually.
I thought it was getting lighter as well. It's almost sunny now.
I'm wondering whether this rain that we were due to have is actually not coming at all. So that might
be the bad weatherman.
I think someone may have defied the weather gods this time, which will probably please Popsu at the moment. So on they continue.
That is very true, because if you're forced to go in the pits, even if you choose the right lap, it's always an element of uncertainty when you're going into that pit lane, having to hit the marks on the entry, having to do everything right in the pit stop to get that right, and suddenly you lost a position through something like that, rather than actually something happen on the track. So I'm sure Popsu will actually be hoping for no rain. Personally, I would like to see it, because we haven't had this season any race with a transition from dry to wet or vice versa. But it doesn't look like at the moment that it will happen, unfortunately.
Still 20 minutes to go, and Popsu continues to lead Jardier at this stage. Jardier was a little cautious there, coming through turn 4. Just given a tenth and a bit to Popsu. Not enough breathing space for him to relax, but we'll see how he's able to continue. There is Nesterowicz. As I mentioned, he's fallen through the field somewhat. And getting back into the 33s. And we will see now if he's able to climb up the field. Iceman, as we previously saw, down into that 11th position. Behind Nick Meadow. Ferrari staying with the Nissan though. There's Steve in the next red Ferrari behind him, with Noah in a very short succession in the green Z4. It might be an older GT3, but God, I love that noise.
Yeah, the Z4 sounds like an absolute beast, doesn't it?
Absolutely it does. It's a shame that it struggles somewhat to keep up with the current competition. But, yeah, that is the nature of thing. Mind you saying that, he's really piling the pressure onto Steve at the moment.
Yeah, the Z4 of course being one of the most used cars back on the original Project Cars game in the GT3 leagues. That was the one I was driving. Season 3 didn't go too well, but Season 2 was alright. And I think that was more down to me not practicing rather than on the car. But yeah, it's definitely an enjoyable one to drive. But yeah, only one team has opted for that Z4 this season. The Ferrari, of course, being the most chosen one. And there's been, of course, a lot of debate around the balance between the cars, whether the Ferrari should actually be allowed and whatnot. But at the moment it is, and everyone had the same opportunity to pick the cars they wanted, so can't really complain about those that have gone for the Ferrari. I mean, it could, of course, be a coincidence as well that the fastest drivers have just chosen to pick this car for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm not the best to conclude with anything on that one.
Nor I. And Jardier now getting under 2/10 behind that blue Ferrari. Easy. Jardier feeling the need to go very defensive into that last in that turn A. Jardier alongside. He can't quite get it done. Popsy just getting the traction, but he's not quite past the yellow Ferrari. Now he's finally getting past him. Jardier is going to have a look on the inside of turn 10. Is he going to dive? There he goes. But can he slow it down? Yes, he can. Jardier back into the lead of the race. I'm surprised that Popsy didn't defend that inside line. It was Jardier committed to it quite a long time in advance. And Jardier returns to the lead of the race, but Popsu has dethroned him once in this race. Can he do it again? I think it was mainly down to Jardier's mistake, whatever that may have been. But now Popsu's got to do it all over again.
Yeah, great move there from Jardier, really. It's Popsu could have covered that off at the exit of the hairpin, really. Jardier was doing a really good job to hold it round the outside of the hairpin, but you know, there was a moment just afterwards that Popsu's car was fully ahead and he could switch over to the left side, but of course it's hard from the cockpit and with those mirrors you got in there to know if you're actually clear of the other car. Maybe Popsu thought that Jardier still had a little piece of his car alongside, and if he had cut across there would have been an incident. So he didn't dare, and now I'm hearing rain, I think. Or my ears are doing weird things. I can hear what you're hearing. Yes, it started to rain. I've just seen a glimpse of it. The weather is now beginning to change. So now is going to be the time when it gets very, very slippery, but it's going to be too dry for the wet tyres. Now we might see a few slip-ups happen. It might be why Pops is falling off. And there you can see it. You can see it in that camera angle. Here it is. At last, the weather gods were not quite defied. Jardier and Popsy have chosen to continue on their lap. It's going to be who is brave enough to try the wet tyres. Well, it's not just who tries it first, it's who tries it at the right time. And Popsy and Jardier have got to carry on. It's not wet enough yet, but look how hard it's falling. They might really struggle as the lap comes to a close. But now we're really going to see how well they've set that car up for the mixed conditions. The rain has begun to fall. Keep an eye on everybody, because of course we could have other people in the race now come alive. As soon as they get onto the wet boots, we'll see what is going to happen. Absolutely. Yeah, maybe Tidney has been running all this time on a wet setup where we don't come into play. we never know. We'll have to see how this one pans out. But certainly very interesting. And Alexis is back on the case of Tapek all of a sudden, almost diving on the inside of turn 1 there. For 6th place, Tapek has really dropped off the back of Zell. He must have had a mistake, actually. He's almost 10 seconds behind the man he was battling previously. A bit surprising.
It wasn't last lap, so it may have been the one before. There was 2 Deserback still keeping Andrex at bay. Now everyone's going to be well aware that that rain is falling. This is where it actually falls for about 10 seconds and stops. But still Jardier gets a 1:31.9 on the board, but of course the rain fell right at the end of that particular lap. We are going to see, so it's going to be a battle of who can handle the slippery conditions. It's going to be a pit stop battle as well. It's all now to play for.
Exactly. It's first it's going to be the battle of choosing the right lap to pit and making sure the pit stop goes without problem. once you get out of that, that is going to be about tackling the wet conditions. So it's going to be very interesting. This could, well, as you said, shake up the race quite a bit, and some of the drivers might be hoping that it will. Like Iceman, maybe. Will not be happy with where he's currently sitting.
On they go then. You can see there that in some areas of the track it's going to become much more slippery than others. It's not going to uniformly suddenly get slippery. Some areas will still feel very, very dry, and some will start to get really, really tricky. For the drivers at the moment, no one's coming in yet, but I don't think it's going to be long with how heavy that rain is now beginning to fall. Another couple of laps maybe, and I think we'll start seeing people giving the wet tyres a try. The windscreen wipers are now starting to go, so we will see who is going to jump first.
Yep, which will be interesting indeed. They are still running strong though, out ahead of Popsu, but Popsu is keeping close. I think that's what Popsu just has to do at the moment. Oh, missing the epic slice there for Zolder, but still gets it turning reasonably well. Yeah, Popsu just has to just keep behind Zolder here, really, and just hope that he can work the pit stop and the weather a little bit better. As long as he's within touching distance, he at least has a chance if something does happen.
I think that's Tex Wheeler they're catching up to. I think he's the only Porsche we have tonight. I think he is. Mickersby. No, it must be Mickersby. My mistake. It's Mickersby. There you go. You can see them in the background. My mistake. I actually forgot who the other Porsche was. So let's see them. And that rain is getting distinctly heavier, so the lap time should really start to go up pretty quickly. But what we're also going to see is these cars get really, really hard for these drivers to handle. Even the best are going to start to struggle. So when you start seeing, look at that. Once you start seeing the
falling,
it's when you start seeing the spray coming off of the back of the car. That's the clue to get out of there. Unless you feel that the grip is just disappearing too quickly, then you might try and get off of those dry tyres early. But it's the same in any racing category. It is a big gamble. It is very much hero or zero. If you go too quick, you'll burn them out. If you leave it too long, you'll fall off the track. So it's great for us spectators, but it's a real big headache for the drivers.
It really is, and it's really coming down now. It's almost snowing the way this is looking. But will this be the lap that these guys choose to come into the pits? Let's first actually have a look at Mickersby down in 19th place. Will he pit? No, he stays out. What about Zolder? He also seems to be braking for the chicane, and he does indeed. Popsu as well, continuing on. So let's see what his lap time will be as they come around on lap 31 of the race. We got just over 11 minutes to go, and it's still a 32.5 and a 32.2 for Popsu. So even though it's looking really wet out there at the moment, it's the lap times still aren't too bad. They're no longer in the 31s as they were doing a few 31.9s earlier, but they're still doing solid lap times. And
they have amazing hybrid tyres, can work in any condition.
It would seem so.
Yeah. Unless Jardier and Popsy are both elevated to beyond God status and can drive with slick tyres in completely wet conditions.
Wouldn't put it past them, to be honest.
I think it might have even been a crack of thunder then. So that would be interesting if that is the case. Look at that! Look at the rain. Nick Meader then. He has got Fab Iceman still for company in that red row. They've closed up. Oh, Nick Meader looked like he was going. I could have been that camera angle. It looked like he was going very deep. Andre still nailed to the back of 2 Desert Pack. He's still fighting there for. Popsu! Oh, Popsu has made a big spin. Oh, that's Nesterowitz is in 14th. He has decided to jump. Our first pit stop. Once now the weather has turned. Now is this going to be the cue? Popsu has obviously had a major spin, as we've just caught up with. He is back underway. He has managed to keep ahead of the next Audi along the line, Tidney. Where's Jardier? What is he up to? He's gone through that last chicane. He's not pitting. That's going to be interesting. Where's Popsu? He's chosen the same. At the moment, what's Jardier's last lap?
Teammate has not taken his teammate's strategy either.
32.6 for Jardier. The lap times are slowing. So we are now going to get 37, of course, for Popsu. Now, we can't tell visually whether Nesterowitz is on those wet tyres, but if he starts sailing past everybody, we know that then that he has opted for the wet tyres, you can actually start to see the track is starting to glisten. The water is beginning to gather and it's not being cleared. So it's where you, and also what you'll notice in certain parts is you'll start seeing the water actually gathering. The wet track is really starting to become a handful for some of these drivers, unless it was Nastero, which has accidentally gone onto dry tyres, and that will of course pretty much end his day if that has been the case. So all eyes still on the leaders, but we are going to be with less than 10 minutes to go. So unless Jardier is going to try and string it out, and I did wonder whether this was going to be the case, whether the rain really started to fall, and whether some drivers would try and get the slick tyres to the end, as we see Mickersby get out of the way, as of course he is obliged to do under blue flag conditions, and that is there for Relo. That will do the same. There he goes, just going to the inside of the track. He's going to try and keep Mickersby behind him. He only has to bleed under the throttle a little bit. There's Popsu in the background, and still no pit stop for our race leader. And Popsu, bit squirrely, but chooses to continue. Tidney, though, is really closed in now. 2.7 separates the Audi and the blue Ferrari. 33.1 now for Jardier. 33.1 for Popsu. 32.6 for Tidney. So now, will we see them push on to the end? It all depends how much time they think they're going to lose by not pitting. If they think that the pit stop is still going to be slower, then of course they're just going to carry on and gingerly find their way around the track. But we're seeing the lap times go up and up and up and up. It's all going to be, it's a gamble at this point in time.
Yeah, that's the thing, because obviously, you know, the pit stop takes a long time. I think the steroids lost about 40 seconds from this trip through the pit lane. Which obviously is a lot of time, and it's only going to be, say, 5-6 laps remaining in the race.
Could be.
So you're not really going to be able to get that time back, but is it really safe? I mean,
that's the thing. That
surely there's a big risk of spinning.
Two does the back, and Nickersby and Nick Meader rather are both in. Nickersby, I'm now mixing up Nickersby and Nick Meader. We're starting to see Steve is coming as well. I suppose towards the tail end you've got less to lose, but that you touched on it perfectly there, Fizzy. Is it may well be slower, but if you throw your car into the wall, you've lost everything. So this is the risk reward that the drivers now have to weigh up.
It really is, yeah. Steve coming into the pit as well, so it's a bit of a queue in the pit lane at the moment. Jardier, though, carrying on once again, so does VSR Noah, and that is putting him into the top 10 at the moment. So, I mean, for him, the gamble might be worth it to try and stay out there and try to get his position, because he was behind all those cars that just went in anyway. So, to see how that goes. So it's really interesting now, the choices that these drivers have to make. And we actually have our first penalty on the board. Relo's in the pits.
Oops.
It's picked up the
penalty. I bet you that's speeding in the pit lane, because he only just got that. You can see, look, off of the back of Popsy, you can see the spray coming off the back of the car. Now, again, look at the lap times of Jardier and Popsy, 34s, 35s. They are really, really struggling. But with 6 minutes to go, they may well choose to keep on with it.
Popsy's being caught by Tisney now.
Yeah.
A lot as well.
Yeah, he lost 2.2 seconds. Popsy lost last time around. It's not going well for the Blue Ferrari.
This is the battle for second place in the championship, actually. Although Jardier might have run away with the title already, unless something really dramatic happens in the last couple of races. Popsu and Tidney for second is only 25 points apart in Popsu's favour at the moment, so getting ahead of him could be quite crucial for Tidney as they're trying to navigate Mixby now, or I guess that would be Mixby. Yeah,
it'll be. I would think so. Mixby's now up to 14th, of course. Some have pitted, most haven't. And there is Jardier just going out at the bottom of the shot, and I think he has chosen to continue. And look at that, Tisney is Popsy's in. Whether he meant to or not, he is in. So Jardier, both of them have come in at the same time. Now it's really going to be Tisney could steal the win if he's got the setup to keep enough grip in these slippery conditions. He could steal the win from the pair of them.
I love this. This is fantastic stuff there. Tisney going for the ultimate strategy. Oh, we have a Z4 off the track. They're just showing how tricky these conditions are at the moment. It's definitely a gamble from Tisney to try and stay out for these final 5 minutes. He could so easily throw that Audi into the wall, but Popsu and Jardier are still in the pits. This pit stop is taking a long time, and they're still in the top 3 actually. But here comes
Zal.
Zal?
Yeah, Zal's gone past them. Popsu and Jardier now underway. Zal's gone past them as well. And also, look at the lead that Tisney has. It's 25 seconds over Zal. With only 4 minutes to go, Tisney, of course, could keep falling off the track, so that would eat into that particular gap as Van Orman and Alexis both come in as well. So it's not a done deal by any stretch yet.
This is fantastic stuff here. And let's see, Noah now into the pits after his, I think it might have been in that spin, or it was Iceberg potentially. That had his mistake, maybe reported to his teammate that no, it's getting a bit too risky to stay out at the moment. But Andrek's up to 7th now with that pit stop. Tex Wheeler now moves into the top 10 from staying out. Half the field is choosing to pit, half the field is staying out. Oh! Tex Wheeler's trying to go in the pit lane the wrong way, I think. The pit exit.
He wants to feel like he's done a pit stop without having done one. He's coming out of the pits now. You can actually see in places the water is beginning to gather. This is where the gamble may backfire on those that are still on the slicks.
It really is, but 30 seconds is what Jardier will have to gain to get Tisney. It's only 6 seconds though up to Zal to get 2nd place, and Zal also decides to pit. He's felt that the gamble isn't doing that 2nd place. He's felt that the conditions are too bad for these slick tires at the moment. It's only 3 minutes to go in the race, and Tisney is leading with a humongous margin, but on the wrong tires.
Well, we say it's the wrong tyres. It's 29.5 seconds Jardier has to gain, and potentially it's only going to be 2 laps at best. That's a lot of time. Tisney has to fall off the track for Jardier to do it. Tisney has got to be very careful, because if he goes too slowly, he will fall off the track through lack of tyre pressure, tyre temperature and downforce. But of course, the slicks get very cold when it's very, very wet. So it's a massive gamble for Tisney, but he's committed to it now. There's no point in him coming in on the penultimate lap. He's got to see this through, and it's going to be fascinating to see whether he can pull this off.
It really will, yeah. Maybe he has actually set his car up for this particular scenario. You never know. But
could have been the plan all along. There's Oblator.
It really could.
That's Oblator, and that is there's Colonel McCoy already ahead.
He's a lap behind that thing. Oblator now into the top 10 though. Yeah,
Colonel McCoy's a lap down from Oblator. That's
the Porsches.
Yeah, one of them fell off, I think. That was Wheeler. That's Wheeler and Mickersby. I think it was Mickersby that might have fallen off the. Oh no, they are actually next to each other on the track.
I think it was Tex Wheeler, because Mickersby was behind before, possibly. But it was Tex Wheeler, wasn't it? That had his trip to the pit exit. So I'm not actually quite sure.
Not sure at all. And that's Oblator getting out of Tisney's way, or just falling off the track. It is the final lap. That is all he has got. 10 corners, give or take, as obviously some of them, turn 7 rather, contains about 5 corners in itself. Very gingerly, look how slowly. 146 is what people are doing now.
Johnny escaped a second and a half in just that one corner.
But he's got 22 left to gain. Tisney could do it. Through the chicane of turn 5, very gently, he only just manages to keep it legal. It's not impossible for him to throw it away on the final lap. Look how carefully he's barely applying the throttle. I mean, he's pretty much just putting the weight of his sock on the throttle bed at the moment. Only just gets through the first part of the chicane of 7. Now the first right-hander, and then into the second. 18 seconds now separates Tisney and Jardier. Popsu's really fallen off the back of Jardier. He's got no answer to the championship leader. Actually looks a lot faster from the outside, weirdly. And that's Fab Iceman. He's now up to 4th. Oh, goodness me. That's fallen into his lap somewhat. That behind him is Typack. So now it's less than 16 seconds for Jardier. You can see that's backmarkers unlapping themselves from Tisney.
Cars everywhere for Tisney on the final lap, and it's so easy to mess up here. But
that's the last turns. That's the last turns. That's turn 10. The checkered flag is out. He's done it. Tisney, he's lost almost half his entire lead, but he's done it. The Audi of GTA Tisney has taken the win what in brilliant form. He took a 2-minute lap at the end, but I bet you're happy about it, Sunshine. Well done. What a great win. The first non-Ferrari win. And what a way to get it done. Jardier comes across the line. Oops, that's the Lamborghini bouncing off the wall. Jardier gained 17 seconds nearly in that one lap alone, but he managed to do it. Popsu comes across the line. He must be pretty fed up by this point. He cannot seem to do anything to beat Jardier at the moment. Iceman just managing to keep his Ferrari under control. He wants that 4th place. He's only a couple of seconds ahead of Scarazell. That's the yellow Ferrari, not the red one that's directly behind. I think that's Steve, actually, that's directly behind Iceman. What a race it's been for... Oops, steady. Does he do it? So ginger on the gas, but he does manage to do it from a disaster. I mean, he was down in 12th at one stage and then comes across the line in 4th. What a run for Fab Iceman. Scarazell 5. Typek is going to cross the line in 6th position. It fell apart rather for Van Orman. He opted for the safer route to go for the tyres. If the rain had happened earlier, then he would have been in the money. Alexis in 8th place. There is Andrex in that big odd M6. He's stayed in the top 10 though, to be fair, but he did lose. He's ahead of 2 Desert Pack. That's who he'd been chasing this along, but he did lose a position to somebody else because he comes across the line in 9th. I'm sure by that point he really wouldn't care. He's just going to take the points where he can get them. 2 Desert Pack. Oh, look at that! If he's not quick enough, he'll lose it. No, he does manage to hang on. Oh, Nick Mino! He just nicked 11th from nowhere on that last straight. Very nicely done there by the Nissan. He's just pipped the Z4. What a race!
Wow. Nick Mino nicking 11th right at the death, and Tidney nicking the win from
Look
the alternate strategy, staying out and failing to fall off the track. Jardier in 2nd place for only the 2nd time this season. Popsu dropping to 3rd. Iceman as well playing that strategy gamble and moving all the way up to 4th after being down around 10, 11, 12 beforehand. Absolutely fascinating stuff, and this is what the changing conditions can do when you have drivers choosing different strategy options. Really love that.
Oh, wow. Let us hope that we have some people ready to talk to us, because goodness me, there's going to be a few things to say. Let's see who's around. Because I don't want to just grab them out of the lobby. I would rather they kind of made themselves available for interview. But wow. Let's see who we've got available. I'm having a look. Where is Tidney? Yes, he is. I'm just going to message him. Because, I'd love to get his thoughts on the race. If I don't speak to anybody else, I want to speak to Tidney.
Absolutely. Jardier has actually muted himself. That might be because he's streaming, but he usually comes and talks to it, obviously. But it might be a bit disappointed that he hasn't worked out for him with that weather change, and him, of course, choosing to do that pit stop. It looked like he was staying out for a long, long time. I thought that he and Popsu were both going to go for it and stay out there, but...
right.
No.
Jardier and Tidney have made themselves available for interview. Let's grab them both into the box. And here we have them. Right, first of all, I'm going to speak to our championship leader, Jardier, before we come across to what has been an amazing win for Tidney. But Jardier, wow, you really made a shout about that one, my friend. First of all, by the fact that you're coughing, I'm assuming you're still feeling a bit under the weather.
Oh man, yeah, I have been in hospital even because I'm coughing bad.
Oh, goodness me.
And I got inflammation on my lungs, so it's like after 10 years I'm finally sick.
Oh my goodness me.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And that went for the preparation because that was beautiful drive by Tidney, because I knew, like, at the point when I was going into the pit lane, I was just relying on the information I got from the teammates and everyone. So I was like, at the point when I went into the pit lane, I knew that it was a mistake.
Oh, goodness me. And, well, we certainly hope you feel better soon. The fact that you're still putting in the incredible lap times, even when you're ill, is a remarkable feat. So, well done to you. Also want to speak to Iceman. What a mixture of emotions you must be going through. We saw you really struggling for quite a long time. We saw you bounce off the wall a few times, and then you came through to finish 4th.
Yeah, that's quite amazing. Finished fourth, but yeah, I'm still disappointed about how the race went. I had the contact with Alexis. I don't know if you saw that. I had like a bit of damage at the front, and I did 2 mistakes on my own. I had suspension damage. I had a 20 front damage, and I had engine damage because my engine was overheating, and I was 2 seconds off pace. So in the end, I think it could have went better. But yeah, fourth isn't too bad.
Wow, and it's really difficult to kind of find the words to describe. But of course, Tidney. I don't think I have shouted about anyone for quite a while as much as I've just shouted about you. What an incredible... So, did you plan on running the slicks on that much wet?
No. Well, it's like I said at Red Bull, I just turn up and play, really. So default setup, just change the radiator, because that's the one thing I can change, and then the brake ducts, and then just go for it. So when I saw Jardia and Papsu go in, I was sort of like, if I'm going to win this, I'm going to have to go risk here. So I decided to carry on, and then the last lap was the sketchiest lap in my life. I don't know if you saw all the back markers overtaking me right near the end.
Yeah, we saw that. I mean, you must have been thinking this was the wrong thing to do, or were you sort of like, just keep the thing on the black stuff as slippery as it is? What was your thought process in that last lap?
So essentially, about 2 laps after dead pit, I thought, oh no, this is the wrong decision. And then I sort of worked out that I think there was like 150 on the timer left, and I was like, I can just let off in the last straight, and I can just do it, even if I just make it there. So I was like, just survive. Sometimes I was literally just like going 10 miles an hour, literally just sliding all over the place, crazy. But well happy with that.
I bet. What a great effort. And that pretty much is going to wrap it up for us this evening. Thank you very much to our drivers for putting on an incredible show. What an amazing commentary it has been for us. Thank you for those who have been with us throughout the stream. It's always a great pleasure to commentate for you. Thank you very much to Fizzy, as always, for being in charge of the cameras and being at my side. Always a great pleasure, sir.
No problem, likewise. And wow, yeah, absolutely stunned about that race. Well done, Disney, for taking that win. The strategy gamble definitely paid off, and it was really exciting there in the last 10 or so minutes of just seeing the different choices that people had to make, and obviously you just tiptoeing around there at the end. See if you could stay ahead of Jardir, who was close. He must have closed like 20 seconds on that final lap at least. But yeah, really well done. Of course, next time another big challenge for the drivers with Mount Panorama. Bathurst is gonna be the challenge up and down the hills.
It's
Australia.
It's early in the morning as well, so very much like Circuit of America, which was at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's 6 a.m. over in Australia, so yeah, that's going to be an interesting one for the strategy-minded. So cannot wait.
Definitely. So I think we can just wrap it up from there, and it should be an amazing race next week. So make sure you join us then as well.
Yes, we will be back here for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.